Hey everyone, welcome to Columbia, Tennessee, home of the local United States Amateur Match Play Championship bracket for Muletown. We have an exciting matchup for you coming up. We have Dustin Nelson versus John Dale here at Woodland Park. Stay tuned and we'll be teeing off on the first hole, probably about 3 to 5 minutes. Alright, guys, welcome back. First round of round 16 between Dustin Nelson and John Dell. They're just about ready to get started.
Hey guys, do you mind if we go ahead and play through? Thank you.
Alright, so making sure we can play through. We have someone waiting on the short tees, but Dustin Nelson is up first. Let's see what he does. So backhand, starts it out really right, comes back and hits the power pole. It probably would have been right in the middle of the fairway if it hadn't done that. But as it is, he's in line with the right tree, so we'll see what his inning looks like. So next up, John Dale. Low shot, but it looks like it did get over the front hill, so tee shots have avoided the trees and they're off. So then we're moving. It's really an awesome day here at Woodland Park. High 60s, the wind maybe about 5 miles an hour, every now and then bumping up past that. I mean, it's just a picturesque day of disc golf. Some other elements they're going to have to be thinking about is there are more leaves on the trees than typical. Typically, we play in March. This year, playing in May, more leaves, trees are fuller, so they're going to have to consider that if they get into trouble. Also, the ground has grown up pretty well here, so rollers and the like become something you have to really think about if you're going to choose that shot. So here's John Dale for a second. Just past the first tee, he probably has 225 feet to the basket. Let's see how this goes. Throws a hyzer flip. It's trying to crash left. It goes just inside the left tree. He'll be in the woods, but he should have, hopefully he has a lane in there to attempt the 3 birdie. With this new alternate pin placement, 3 is a lot easier to get, but it seems that there's a lot more putts out of the woods on the left. It just seems like there's a magnet there, really bringing the disc that way. So Dustin, he hit this power pole. He's sitting here. He's probably 150 feet away. He's got a really open shot here. Some different choices as to what he can do if he wants. This be for his second. Opportunity to put the pressure on John here. Goes a little slight turnover, and he parks it. He's right underneath the basket. It's a great shot by Dustin there, so pressure does go back onto John. He's looking at needing to make this putt in order to half the hole. So the format of match play is different than stroke play. In match play, instead of just trying to play to the best of your abilities on each hole, you're actually wanting to play against your competitor. So you're wanting to win the hole no matter what. So there's pros and cons to this. You can take a big number on a hole and lose that hole, but you don't take, let's say your opponent makes birdie and you make a double bogey. You don't lose 3 points, you just lose the hole, so it's 1. So certain situations you can be more aggressive. It really can change the different types of throws you want to make. It can also change your strategy, so it's an exciting format to where anything really can happen in match play. Looks like they have found John Dale's disc. Oh, looks like he's about 20 feet away. So this will be for the 3 and to have the hole.
I mean, I'm not like pushing this out of the way.
Ooh, right side high chains. Basket doesn't take it. Dustin looks to tap in here. He'll take hole 1, and we'll meet you on hole 2. And we're back. Hole 2 plays 275 feet from the tee. Uphill. Dustin up first. Throws a straight to Heiser's shot. Takes a big skip. He'll have a look from probably 30 feet. Depends on how he wants to putt that. You can probably go straight at it. Here's John Dale with his tee shot. Throws it, wants it to turn over. It does not. Hits the tree, but comes back into the fairway just barely. So he won't have to throw around the tree, but he'll have to keep it underneath the branches of these trees on the left here in the line. This hole is typically looked at as one of the hardest holes on the course. In tournament play, many times they'll make the line of trees you see on your left an OB line. If that's not OB, though, this whole play is quite a bit easier because you can really be aggressive on this tee shot and know that you probably can get up and down for your par. So here's John Dale's disc. Just on the left side, he probably has about maybe 50, 55 feet up. So we'll see what he decides to do here. What's the play he decides to make? He really has a clear shot. Really not hampered too bad by the canopy. He's really passed most of it, so he's got a straightforward look at it. For his 2. Oof. Just lands. Looked like it tried to roll away a little bit. The way it landed, maybe it didn't roll too far. Right? Dustin here, he's probably looking at about 30 feet for his putt. Chance to take the hole. The tree is really not in his way. It could just be in his way mentally something's right beside you. You think about it, but the birdie and take the hole. And really was more just right under the basket. Maybe he sees where John's disc is and decided to put more pressure on him, but it looks like they are both pretty close to the hole. I see this being halved. We'll see you on the next hole, hole 3. Nelson will be up 1. And we're back. Hole 3. It's a par 4, 560 feet. He throws it. It's way up there. He's easily cut this hole in half. Up a hill. It's a great shot on this tee. John Dale, his tee shot. Lower line, but still quite a bit up the fairway. Cut it about in third. This hole plays is one of the harder holes in the course. It is up. If you have a bomber arm, you can take advantage of this hole on many people. 560 feet from the longs. The shorts play much shorter than the 560. We'll look when we go by there, but it's a good 150 feet just to the shorts at least, probably 200. Not including the hill, which, elevation is always hard to show on camera, but we're probably going up a good 10 feet. So, one of the things that's been talked about in the matches that have been played so far has been a lot of these alternate pin positions, which, if we look back at two's one of the hardest, and you can see the PVC pipe sticking up on the side of the woods there. That is actually going to be the alternate pin position for 2. 3's is up there in the corner near the woods, so a little bit of devious play here on this. We're at John Dale's disc now. Let's see what he decides to do. He throws a hyzer, it barely hits the branches and just kills all momentum of it, so he'll be laying 2 from there. So Nelson has a real chance here if he can get up. If he can get it up to the basket, he can apply a lot of pressure very quickly. So we'll see what happens. Alright, looks like he's found his disc and he's in a great position here. Great position to take advantage of his drive. Really can get up and down for a birdie, so let's see what he decides to do here. Couple gaps, he can throw a backhand, keep it low. The branches on the tree right in front of the basket, you'll have to keep it low under them. There's also a forehand play through the trees. Looks like he's going backhand. He throws it. It's up. It needs to get down a little more, and it does, and it looks like he's parked. Wonderful shot there. Wonderful shot. I would say if you're able to get a 3 on this hole, you are probably going to be winning most of the time on this hole. But crazier things have happened. So we'll see what happens here. We have a puppy up there who's wanting to learn how to play disc golf, so he's really trying to get a disc. So John's just trying to wait on him. So, I mean, this is an absolute picturesque day. We have sun shining. It's nice and warm, but not too hot. A lot of people are trying to get out and enjoy the day. Okay, so here's John. Here's the start. He really needs to either throw this in or absolutely park it. One of the two. So we'll see what happens. John, his third. Looks like he's running it. Goes just left. He's sitting long. I imagine that was an aggressive play, trying to really get up and at least try to have the hole. He's assuming that Dustin's right underneath the basket. Okay. So. Oh. If we are looking at a Dustin win here, he'll go 2 up through 3. And really, it's just excellent play by Dustin Nelson. Doing exactly what he wants, when he wants. Taking advantage of the situation. It looks like. And he has done it. Made a 3. Excellent 3 there by Dustin. He'll go 2 up. We'll meet you on hole. And we are back. Hole 4. Hole 4, 411 feet. But it definitely paid to place longer than that. Now, with the new alternate pin position, Dustin Nelson has the box. And he throws a straight shot down the gap. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Playing really well. John Dell to answer. And it hugs the inside. It looks like it just hit the tree and bounced right. We'll see where it finishes. Really 2 great shots there, though. Just rather unlucky for Johns to hit that tree. Hugged a little too tight for too long. Hole says 411 on the scorecard. It plays longer than that, and that could be straight to the basket. This is one of the more demanding holes here at Woodland. Actually played tied for the hardest hole in the 2019 Woodland Open last year, at the end of the year. And really, it's all about this tee shot. This gap, it looks a lot bigger on camera than it actually is. But all it takes is just a fraction of a degree tilting this one way or another, and you could be seeing yourself in the woods. So, John Doe with his second. We'll see what his decision here is. and he just pitches it up through the corner in prime position. So Nelson has an opportunity here. He's sitting in the back corner of his fairway, so it actually went rather long. We'll see what he decides to do. See if we can't get a view of the shot here and a view. So the basket is going to be at the end of the hallway, you see, in a little cove. So, right. Let's see what we got here. Nelson second. He does have that tree in his sight. So, looks like that's in the decision process. Right. Nelson's second shot. And it looks like he was going for the fairway. It bounced right. I don't have a visual if it stayed in the fairway, but it looks like it stayed fine. If it is, it's just off. He is saying it is just off to the right, so we'll see how far off it went. Here, John Dale's in prime position to get down to the cove. Here's his third. And to put the pressure back on Dustin. There's a low line, and once at the skip, and the chips really ate up a lot of that momentum. So you can tell he's not, doesn't seem like he's super excited about that shot. Right line, just wrong height, wrong execution, good idea. As with all types of golf, you know, it's a mental game, and there's two pieces of the game that go hand in hand. It's the mental decision making, and it's the physical and the execution. So it looks like Dustin has found his disc. Set up here. So looks like he's going to attempt a patent pending and slight turnover. Throws it up and slides up nicely. So that'd be for his 4. All right. Right now, Dustin can just continue to put pressure. He's up 2 through 3. He really has an opportunity to continue to just what play he's doing and continue to put the pressure on. Hopefully John is able to answer here. He's looking at, he possibly needs to make this. Dustin does have a putt, probably a 10, 15 foot putt. We'll see what goes here. John for his 4th. Ooh, just over the basket. Definitely was running it with that choice. Okay. Alright. So, Dustin has more of a difficult putt than thought. It looked like it slid further. He's sitting at probably 15 feet. Let's see if we can't get a little more basket here. And it hits front cage. That actually brings John back into it. He can make his putt and have the hole. Would be a fortunate break for him. Looks like he's looking for his disc. Let's see if we can get a little closer and see where about he's going to be.
We're in.
Alright, looks like he's located his disc. So, he doesn't have the easiest of putts, but you have a chance to have the hole, you take it.
Sure I'm not about to pick up a snake or something.
this putt to probably have the hole. Just come off right edge. Gave it a good go. You see it slid just to the right.
That's up to you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Looks like he's letting Dustin finish out. And he does. He goes up 3 up. And 4. We'll see you on hole 5. And if you haven't been here yet, thought I'd take the opportunity to show you some of the storm damage from Monday night's event. That used to be the walkway up to 5. You can see the roots there. So we now have a new walkway. And we have this overhanging tree to go through now. Hole 5, 240 feet. Dustin's up 3. He has the tee box. And he turns one over nicely. Turns it over nicely. Now here's John to answer. And it has kicked right pretty deep into the woods.
Better get running in there.
Go ahead.
The real
You good?
cameraman would go after him.
Hmm?
So the real cameraman would go after him.
Dustin's over here questioning the cameraman now. We don't have the funding at Jomez. Nor the jerseys. So now we're looking for disc. I would say it kicked early.
Which tree did you hit? Was it orange? Were you orange? Yeah. You're right here. There's kind of a. You got it? You got a path?
And so they have located his disc. Let's see if we can't go in and see the shot. Pretty thick in here, John has. Can't tell if he has a great window or not. Looks like he's going to try to go over a lot of the branches. For a second. And he just gets it on the edge. It's really a great recovery shot.
Nice shot, man. You're on the fairway.
So, you'll be looking at about 130 to the basket.
Right up there. Just barely on the edge.
So, about 130 to the basket. Really needs to pin this towards the basket. Dale's third. Released it a tad too high, and this hole can do that. This hole is one of those where nice simple turnover, you can get a 2, as we've seen many on the cameras do. But also this hole can turn very quickly into a 4, a 5, possibly even a 6. All it takes is a wrong kick off the tree, as we just saw. So he really needs to make this. Dale does. I don't want to put any pressure back on. This is for his 4. And that's it. Dustin for 2. Really, that's a really good 2. Number 5. Hole 5 is a really good 2 to get. So Dustin goes 4 up through 5. We'll see you on hole 6. And again, if you haven't been here recently, this was the tree behind 6's long tee pad. As you can see, it absolutely uprooted it. Go check out the part 1 of Quentin versus Darius match John has on his channel. You can see that. Dustin throws a big hyzer. It's crashing down a little quickly. He's short. He's probably 25 feet short, so it's a great throw. Pressure back on John. Another big hyzer. It's staying up this time, and it's really tracking really well. Throws it tad low and takes a little bit of an anti-skip. He may be just the same distance away.
Yeah, it looks good. It's closer than I thought.
And we're off. We had some gentlemen letting us play through. It was nice of them. Hole 6. This is the start of what many call Birdie Row. From the long tees, it's a 350-foot shot. Road plays OB. You know, if you have a big arm, this is definitely a twoable hole. One that's a little easier. Probably plays closer to maybe 325, but it can get away from you. The wind likes to swirl here and change directions. Today, it's actually very calm. The wind has probably died down where we don't really have any right now here. This hole actually plays in the middle of the pack, though, when you start looking at the differences to pars. a good test of decision making and really disc selection. As you see, they both chose a wide hyzer to allow it to fight back. So we're here at Dustin's shot. This is for birdie. And he doesn't even attempt to run it. Decides to just lay it up. So John's looking about 18 feet up a hill. Good chance to run it. Good chance to get a hole here. Let's see. And he does. He gets it back. So Nelson will be 3 up after 6, and we'll see you on 7. And we're back, hole 7. It's a par 3. Rose 1. Looks like it was a thumber. It tried to come around, but it ended up bailing out left in the woods. So here's Dustin. Gonna throw it backhand. And he turns one over really nicely. He is sitting right underneath the basket.
Making my job tough today.
So just to show you what they have to go through on this one. I mean, the gap is very narrow from here. Maybe 3.5 disc wide. And it's really your follow through is what you're really thinking about. So it's one of the few holes where you can see all types of shots come out. You got thumbers, you got little Annie forehands. As you saw here, a turnover backhand. So many different types of shots. From the shorts, it plays a lot easier than the longs. From the longs, it's a much tougher hole, just because of the entry gap. Here's John with his second, and he knows what he has to do here. He sees Dustin underneath the basket, so he has to run it. He has to choose which way he wants to run it, though. Oof. Excellent up, though. And gave it a bid. Tried to hyzer it in at the end. But as it looks like Dustin will take hole 7. Finish up this putt. And he does, and we'll meet you on hole 8 with Nelson 4 up. And we're back, hole 8. We have a spectator walking in the park, little puppy. So, hole 8, par 3. It's 240 feet long. Interesting, it's the exact same length as hole 5. It's quite a different shot. Here's Nelson with his first. We're going with the hyzer and tad long. Tad long. Looks like he's about 12 feet past the basket. Should still have an excellent look at birdie. Here's John Dale with his tee shot. Throws a hyzer as well, hangs it up. This is tracking really nicely. Flashes just right in front of the basket, so applies pressure where needed. Excellent shot. I would say on this hole, really many a time, birdie gets you just a half here. This is a hole where most people are taking something over stable, something they trust, throw it over the road and let it come back, crash down. I'll say this is one of the holes where you see the ace pot get knocked out with. Actually plays as the easiest hole last year, the 2019 Woodland Open. So, and we're here at the basket. Really, the only danger could be is if you throw it too far, too high, and it crashes down to the left into those branches. You don't have a shot. But many times you'll see people still have a shot out of that. So here we are. This is for birdie, potentially to have the hole. And he makes it. And John Dale up for his birdie. He's going to wait for Dustin to clear the chains. And it is a push. We'll see you on hole 9. Nelson up for it. And we're back. hole 9, 247 feet, but plays up a hill, probably plays closer to 275. That was his first shot. Low, hits the right tree. So now John Dale has an opportunity here to. He knows a 2 would probably win this hole, so let's see what he does. Throws a big hyzer, barely catches a little tree, comes back just in the middle of the fairway, a little pinched off, probably 60 feet away, but advanced up the fairway rather nicely.
It never works out.
So this hole is super interesting. You have again another gap, but it's not as big of a gap, or it's a bigger gap than hole 7, but it is longer. So you have a couple options here. A lot of times you can throw right up the middle, you can throw a big hyzer, or even a forehand flex. But here's Dustin with his second. And wonderfully played. Gets it all the way up the hill. He's looking at about 25, 30 feet to save par here. So it's at this time where things get really interesting and the strategy of the game comes into play. You know, John Dale, you're down 4 through 9, but you have an opportunity here to start gathering some momentum. How aggressive do you get on this upshot? Do you try to take it out of Dustin Nelson's hands and make the circle 2 putt, or do you put the pressure back on him, test his putting, test his nerves? One of the many facets of match play that's just a little different than stroke play. So we're here. We're probably looking at circle 2, maybe just on the edge of it. He's going to throw a forehand here. And looks like he wants to test Nelson's nerves. So he's probably sitting 8 feet away from the basket. As you can see, the alternate pin for this hole will be further up the hill. So as difficult as this hole already plays, it's going to get a little harder. So here's Nelson to potentially have the hole. Probably at about 25 feet up a hill. And he's just right, just pulled it. Now John Dale has an opportunity here to take a hole back. And he does. Takes a hole back. Nelson's up 3. We'll see you on 10 on the backside. Welcome back, hole 10.
Oh, I don't even see him. Okay.
We still have some people on the fairway. So she's waving you on. She's waving y'all on. So just let them know you're throwing.
Thank you.
All right, so hole 10, 502 feet. Plays about that. Basket's to the right, further than typical, more towards the corner of the trees. Par 4, John Dale's first shot. A little bit of an early release. It did Annie. And we don't hear any trees, so he could be sitting in an okay position considering the release point. Dustin Nelson, his tee shot. And a type of hyzer flip. It doesn't flip up all the way, but he absolutely smacks a tree. The tree thanks him, puts him in the middle of the fairway. I would say this is one of the most interesting holes on Woodland. Now, if you were going to design around the hole, it would be something like this. It's a par 4 where you have multiple angles of attack. You can go down this left side with a forehand, especially if the basket's in its original position. The main gap most people play is this middle gap. The middle gap is pretty standard, especially right now with the basket in the right. There is one other gap. You can try to throw a forehand roller through the right and through the trees. It's a little risky, but it is something that some of the locals do here. Alright, so John Dale has found his disc. Let's see if we can see what he's got. Here we go. He throws it, turns it over. It might try to roll up the hill a little bit. We'll see. Did not see the ending of that shot.
Thanks.
He's being told good shot, so we're going to assume he got out pretty clear. Probably has a safe look for 3 to get around the trees and knock down on 4. Here's Dustin Nelson with his second opportunity, really, to take advantage of this situation here. He could look at getting it up to the basket and have a putt for birdie. Dustin Nelson's second. And he throws a slight turnover. It is marked onto the basket. He is right underneath. It's an excellent shot, considering the situation.
You know, I complained when I threw it, but this is the perfect spot to actually split that gap towards the
So, considering the situation, you just lost a hole with a rough tee shot hitting the trees. Comes right back and gets excellent upshot. John Dale's a lot closer than we thought coming out. He really has an excellent shot here to make this putt and potentially have the hole. Let's see if we can get it. And it just comes up just a tad short. Nelson putts in. He'll go up, back up, 4 up, and we'll see you on hole 11. Here we are, hole 11. Par 3, 275 feet to the normal basket, probably about 310 to the new basket. Quite a difficult hole now. Dustin's tee shot. Turns it over and hits the trees to the right near 12's tee box. That will be a interesting shot to go from there. He'll have a lot of options, probably not many that he wants. Here's John Dale. Throws turnover. It did sneak through the trees on the left side of this hole, but ended up left down the hill.
They're trying to turn it over a little more than it did.
All right.
Tricky.
All right, so hole 11, in the past when the basket's up on the top right of the hill, plays as a pretty standard forehand hyzer or a turnover backhand, but now with the basket in its new position, it's really an interesting shot. It makes it one of the more interesting alt positions on this course. A lot of different options. You can try to turn it left where they're walking now with a forehand and skip it up, or you can just go with a flex forehand. Really, a flex backhand can get you there. It also depends on what you're going for on this hole. I would say if you do get a 2 on this hole, you are probably going to win this hole. Don't see too many attempts, even chances at 2 for this hole. Really becomes a par 3, so looks like Dustin will be first. And let's get up to where he's at. So we have that. Okay. So throws a slide Annie, hits the branches at the up top. He could be really close to the basket though. So we'll see. He could be really close to the basket, maybe 10 feet away or so. Here comes John Dale for his second. As he's considering the new disc, we'll get a little closer. See if we can't get a good shot of this hole. And just hits the tree. Looked like he had a really good height, really good line.
It's still stuck in the tree.
So as you see, he got hung up in the tree. Whoop. So it's just right inside those bushes. So he'll mark his disc where he can and make his throw from there. This is for the 3. Oof. Gave it a good run. Disc does sit down. So now here's Dustin. He's looking at probably 10 feet. A chance to win the hole and go 5 up. And he does it, knocks it in. Great hole, great 3 from where he was at. We'll meet you back on hole 12. Nelson up Here we go. Hole 12, 270 feet. Nelson's up first, throws a backhand down the middle gap, comes crashing in, and
There you go.
he's up at the first wave of trees, looking at probably a 20-foot putt with a couple obstacles, but a good shot. Now John Dale for his tee shot.
That goes straight down. I didn't see it.
It hit this tree right in the middle.
Wow, it bounced back like
Yeah, it
And
was
John
like-
Dale's tee shot hits first available. This basket is in an excellent position. The new basket, initial impressions are, oh, that's going to be a lot easier. But what that new basket does is, if you try to ace run it or anything like that, you actually bring the road more into play. So it's going to be an interesting, really interesting pin position when they get it. Here's John Dale's second. Backhand highs are around, trying to get up. Looks really pretty, and he may be sitting 15 feet away. It's an excellent shot, though. Excellent recovery from hitting first available. This is 12 and 13 have a lot of similar characteristics. You see a lot of trees along the way, a lot of different lines, a lot of opportunity to have a great shot, and a lot of opportunity to, knock a tree, first available, second available, and really put yourself in a tough position. The putting greens, I would say, of 12 and 13 are quite different, though. 12's putting green, you have more trees to deal with within the circle, while 13's putting green, you don't. But the new pin position starts bringing the road into play, and you have further obstacles. But we do find Nelson's disc here. Like I said, he's probably 20, 25 feet away with a little bit of uphill. He's going to have that tree in his way. We'll see how he decides to attack this. And hits the front of the cage, rolls back a little bit, but it looks like the log stopped it. It's really an excellent run. But John Dale now has an opportunity. Looks like John Dale actually made it past the basket a little bit. He's going to have a nice putt back for his par and to have the hole to keep him alive. Keep himself alive. And he does. I assume Nelson would probably knock his in as well. We're looking at a half hole. Nelson will be 5 up with 6 to play. We will see you on hole 13. Here we go, hole 13, par 3, 265. Nelson's tee shot, throws a backhand turnover. It is turning over really nicely, and excellent shot here. He has a look on the edge of circle 1 for a birdie. Now John Dale to answer. Tries to throw back in. Hits the big tree on the left side of the fairway. He's sitting now in 14's fairway. Alright, and we're off. So John Dale really needs to find a way to get this up near the basket to put any pressure he can on Dustin. We're sitting, Dustin's 5 up with 6 left to play. So we find John Dale's disc here. He's probably a good 225 still away and has to go through a wave of trees. He's gonna need to cook up something here to get it close to the basket. But this is match play. John Dale second. Tries to go through, hits tree. As you heard him say, he had to go for it. And, it's match play and, stroke play. You might just pitch back out and try to take your 4 and be happy. But in match play, he knows that if he does not put any pressure whatsoever on Nelson, he's not looking good to continue on. So now we find John Dale's shot. We're looking at his 3rd shot here. Really, probably about 180, 175 feet through trees. Just as difficult a shot. And a little bit of tree golf here. Bounced left again. Really it's, Dustin is up 5, but it's really been a lot closer of a match. Just that Dustin has been absolutely consistent throughout the whole time. And any small little mistake that, John has made, Dustin's just been there to capitalize. But it's been a really close match, a closer match than what the score indicates. So, but I've had an opportunity to see a lot of these holes here.
It was like the best drive I've seen on 13 in the tournament so far. That was great.
Here, John congratulating Dustin on his drive here. I agree, to get a 2 on this basket is saying something. All right, here's John with his 4th shot. And just under the basket, but he'll tap that in for his 5. But as we are looking at it, here's Dustin for a birdie. And I believe to take the match. Just right side. But he'll have that putt back for his par. So, Dustin for his par to win the hole and the match. And he's in. He's in 6 up. Stay tuned. We'll come back with either some player interviews or some final commentary. All right, and we're back here with John Dale after his match with Dustin. John, excellent match today. Um, what? So, talk us through a couple of the holes. When we start talking about the top three holes, what would you contribute to some of the shots you made? A little bit of rust, nerves. Where do you think?
I wasn't nervous at all. It was definitely a lot of rust. I hadn't played since early March, but it was fun just to get back out and play again. And liked the approach shots that I had. I had to scramble quite a bit. Had some pretty rough drives, but I'd say the rough drives and then having some early spit outs really hurt me because then you don't have any room for error later on in the back nine.
Right. Talk us through hole nine. Hole nine, you take your shot, take your drive, you go up to about 60 something feet, and you end up throwing a nice forehand approach for the par. What was your decision making there? What was your thinking throughout that?
I was really just trying to look for the path of least resistance. So, there was a big gap there for a forehand approach, and I took it. It worked out. And then I saw on 11, I made the wrong decision. I tried to go with a kind of a backhand hyzer approach into the basket, and it bit me. I was just about 6 inches too far to the left and ended up in those weeds with a really tough putt. So, I think not playing a lot, you kind of maybe get a little rusty, not executing as well. But Dustin Nelson played, I would say, arguably the best match I've seen so far in this 2020 tournament. So whoever gets him next is going to have their hands full.
Definitely agree there. What's some final thoughts that you can take away from the match and looking forward?
I'm just going to try again next year. I really love this tournament and love being a part of the broadcast team too. So I'm looking forward to getting behind the mic and the camera and bringing this action to everyone else. And hopefully we'll have a Muletown champion go on and win the state of Tennessee this year.
There we go. And then one other thing, we do have the bag tag series at the end, and that has a match play at the end. So if anything, this is just an opportunity to kind of get even more prepared for that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and we still have it on the books. So everyone just go to muletowndiscgolf.org, and you can see all the details there.
All right. Well, thanks, John. We'll come back in just a minute. We'll have an interview with the winner, Dustin Nelson.
Thank you.
All right, and we're back here with the winner, Dustin Nelson. Dustin, congratulations on the match. Well played. Um, so, talk us through. Got a couple of questions here. Talk us through. I think the starting hole we want to start talking about really is hole 3. What was your approach on that hole? I mean, to really make a birdie there on that hole is really a tone setter. So, what was your approach on hole 3?
Yeah, I got a pretty decent tee shot out into the fairway, and I was a little off on the right side, which was a little tricky footing. But I decided since I had a little bit tricky footing and I needed to get left, I picked up a little bit. I dissed up a little bit, picked up kind of a straighter Explorer, and just kind of smoothed it up there, and yeah, worked out.
Okay. Hole 7 tee shot, absolutely wonderful backhand turnover, slid it right up into the basket. Talk us through what you're thinking going into that tee shot. Some of the things you're thinking about as you try to make that.
Don't hit the trees. That's about it. I take my flippiest putter, I hit the gap, and I hope it turns right.
Okay. And then a little bit of adversity in hole 9, hit first available, but then come back hole 10, hit another tree, but kick right perfectly into the fairway. Talk us through that. real quick swing. It was down one, back up one. Talk us through that swing. What your mental space was there.
Yeah, my mental space on hole 9 was I'm probably going to hit this tree in front of everybody. And as soon as that thought enters your head, that's usually you think it into existence, and that's what happens. Yeah, coming into that, I was hoping to come into hole 10 with a decent shot to kind of stop John's momentum. If he got going, I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to stop him. So got a lucky kick off the trees. Otherwise, I would have been scrambling a little bit like him, and he had one of the better scramble shots out of those woods on the left I've seen in a while. Luckily, I was able to put my upshot close, so I didn't have to putt because I was not putting very well today.
All right, looking to your next match, and we're not sure exactly who's that going to be yet. What are some things you're going to take from this round, and looking forward to the next round?
Yeah, I think just cleaning up some putting, make sure that I can hit anything in the circle, and just try to stay consistent on my drives. I've been working on some timing stuff at home, and it seemed to click a little bit today, so I'm hoping that transfers into the next match.
All right, well, that'll do us here. We're finishing up this match play event. We have, I believe, 2 more matches left. We have Clint Wright, and we have Clint Wright versus Andrew Tester. We also have Bradford Watson versus Drake Abernathy. From us here, for the 2 competitors, Michael Tucker. Thank you guys for tuning in. We look forward to the next match.
Yeah.